In a twist that has sparked widespread attention across the tennis world, Toni Nadal has finally addressed the tantalizing topic that's been whispered about in coaching circles for years: could he ever consider mentoring Carlos Alcaraz? Toni, of course, is no ordinary coach. He's the mastermind behind Rafael Nadal's clay court dominance and a key architect of one of the greatest tennis careers in history. Now, with Rafa having stepped away from regular competition, eyes naturally turned towards Spain's new tennis prince, Carlos Alcaraz. Alcaraz, 22 years old and already a French Open champion, is in the midst of defending his title in Paris. Ranked world number 2, he's confidently moved into the quarterfinals, dispatching opponents with flair, grit, and power. The tennis world can't help but wonder, is this the beginning of another Spanish dynasty? Toni Nadal's opinion matters. It carries weight like few others in the sport. So when he spoke on a recent Spanish podcast, his comments were closely listened to, dissected, and quoted around the globe. He didn't hold back on his admiration for Alcaraz's game. Tennis-wise, I think he's terrific, Toni declared with conviction. He does everything, and he does everything well. High praise from a man who's seen it all. The very same coach who watched Rafa demolish generations of champions with a topspin-heavy forehand, unshakable mindset, and unrivaled court coverage. Toni was particularly impressed by Alcaraz's athleticism. He's the fastest, he said. He has devastating shots, both forehand and backhand. Coming from someone who coached perhaps the greatest clay court mover ever, those words are no small compliment. He also acknowledged that while Alcaraz's serve may not yet be his most lethal weapon, it's no weakness either. I think he also has a good serve. He's skillful, Toni added. There was one small critique, though. Toni noted Alcaraz could be prone to occasional lapses. He fails a little sometimes. I don't know if he's distracted or tactically, but even that observation came wrapped in understanding, as if to say, yes, he's human, but what talent he has. And Toni wasn't finished. When asked to compare Alcaraz to Jannik Sinner, another rising star and current rival, he revealed a personal bias: for me, I like Alcaraz more than Sinner. But nowadays, Sinner is a bit more reliable than Alcaraz. Still, his conclusion was emphatic and unwavering. Alcaraz, I'm telling you, is an extraordinary player. It was glowing praise. Honest, experienced, heartfelt. And naturally, the question followed, would he ever consider working with Alcaraz? The idea is tantalizing. The greatest clay court coach joining forces with the next clay court phenom. It writes itself. But Toni's answer was as humble as it was humorous. He certainly wouldn't call me. He has enough good coaches, he said, referring to Juan Carlos Ferrero, Alcaraz's current mentor. Ferrero, a former world number 1 and French Open champion himself, has shaped Alcaraz's rise from teenage prodigy to Grand Slam winner. I don't think he needs my help at all, Toni continued, giving Ferrero his due and subtly closing the door on any speculation. But it was his final remark that truly showed where his heart lies. And if he did call me, well, I wouldn't want him to surpass Rafael. Otherwise, I'd have a problem. There it was. The essence of Toni Nadal. A man who helped build a legend and still fiercely guards that legacy. The line drew laughter and headlines. But beneath the humor was a deeper truth. Toni Nadal's loyalty isn't just to Spanish tennis. It's to Rafael Nadal, the nephew he coached from boyhood to 22 Grand Slam titles, including that unparalleled run of 14 Roland Garros trophies. To guide Alcaraz now, would be, in some ways, to risk sculpting the man who could eclipse his nephew's greatest records. That's a line he's not willing to cross. It's a position both emotional and logical. Toni may admire Alcaraz's game, perhaps even more than Sinner's, but coaching is not just about tactics and fitness. It's about identity, legacy, and values. And for Toni, that legacy is intertwined with Rafael Nadal. Still, his words are a significant endorsement. For a figure like Toni Nadal to speak so highly of Alcaraz, not as a casual observer, but as a man whose standards are shaped by coaching a generational icon, it means something. It validates the belief that Alcaraz is not just a star, but a potential legend in the making. A player who has all the tools, physical, mental, and emotional, to go the distance. But it also sends a message: Carlos Alcaraz has everything he needs. He's in good hands with Ferrero. He's on the right path. There's no need to shift camps. No need for outside rescue or reinvention. What's left is time, maturity, and experience. Toni's comments also underscore a fascinating reality. Spain, remarkably, may be witnessing the seamless passing of the torch. From Rafa to Carlos. From one clay court warrior to the next. But the shadow of Rafael Nadal is long. His feats, especially in Paris, are unmatched. And Toni Nadal, by standing back from Alcaraz's corner, is making sure that shadow isn't forgotten. Even as the next great Spanish champion rises, the echoes of Rafa's legacy, and Toni's hand in shaping it, still ring through Roland Garros. In the end, Toni's decision not to coach Alcaraz isn't about rivalry. It's about reverence. Reverence for what was, admiration for what is, and deep, familial love for a nephew whose footsteps on clay will forever be the gold standard. Carlos Alcaraz may write his own story. A glorious one, no doubt. But Toni Nadal will always be a proud chapter in another tale, the tale of Rafa.